I'm not normally in here. I can't cook. I just want to learn how to cook, and I figured it would be good content. We're gonna start this whole thing of me hopefully learning and hopefully getting better at cooking with the one thing I can make, mac and cheese. And I'm not talking about box mac and cheese. I make from scratch with ingredients. I do have a recipe that I follow. I will put a link in the description for where you can find the recipe, but also I'm gonna just like put it on the screen. I don't know if people are really gonna want this mac and cheese. Probably not. I mean, I just said I'm a bad cook, so why would you wanna eat something I'm suggesting if a bad cook is telling you that? So I'm just gonna put it up on the screen, read it out to you a little bit, kind of go through the motions, and then you can see if you want it, but I know this is coming from a specific TV show from the early 2000s, so the name is a little bad. It's called Cook Yourself Thin Mac and Cheese. I want to just preface, you don't have to do it this way. I have heavily modified this. They suggest you use skim milk. They suggest you use unsalted butter. They suggest you use low-fat cheese. I don't do any of that. I use almond milk because my husband drinks almond milk. We use salted butter and then add more salt into it. And I also use the best cheese that I think is for this recipe, and I will show you that specifically in a minute. But I don't follow the whole make this a nice for you healthy meal as they had advertised this to be. I would suggest starting with definitely all the correct measurements. Again, I don't, so we'll get into that as we go along. So you're gonna need 2 cups of whatever pasta you want. You're gonna need some butter, some all-purpose flour, some milk, some cheddar cheese. Now, this is the one thing where I have a special preference on. Cabot, I don't know, but the Vermont Seriously Sharp cheddar cheese. We also mix in a little bit of just normal sharp cheddar cheese, and we mix in mozzarella as well. This is at the request of my husband. And if I didn't have my husband who wanted the mozzarella cheese in there, I would only use this cheese. But I'm not rich and I have a husband and his opinions matter. So he gets the mozzarella. Now, this is the weird one.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Am I doing it right? Specifically this. Great value. Walmart Worcestershire sauce. I've gotten name brand ones, those are also fine, but then I have tried other off-brand ones. This one was absolutely disgusting. Do you see, there's still some left in here? I've used it once, and now this is never again. This is way too fishy. You also need salt, pepper, nutmeg, and then the last thing you need is some kind of topping. I use panko with the Italian flavoring on it. When you do make this recipe, you are also going to need a ceramic dish or bowl, like a casserole dish, because this does have to go in the oven to broil. It doesn't cook in there, it doesn't bake in there, it just needs broil. So yeah, that's all of the stuff you need. That's all I've got. We can start cooking. We can start cooking. Cooking time, cooking time, cooking time in kitchen. On medium heat, and wait for it to get a little brown. It says golden in the recipe. So butter's in the pan. And we're gonna let this melt now. And once it gets a little brown, that's when we add the flour in. While the butter is still melting down, I'm actually gonna get out my milk and measure out my milk, because the milk also has to be warmed in the microwave before you put it in. The warm milk mixes better in the rest of the mixture, because if they're both warm, I don't know. Food science is happening. Gonna get out the milk and start warming that up as well. And then you can kind of see over in the back there, I've got my pot with hot water. That's gonna start heating up now too. So, okay, as you can see, our butter is a little brown, a little that golden color. So now we're gonna put the flour in. 2 tablespoons of flour. And then you wanna start mixing it. You wanna get it all in there. All right, so now do you see that? It's kind of has become this pasty stuff. This is what we're going to add the liquid to. So it specifically says continue whisking and add the milk in a slow, steady stream. You don't want to add it in all at once, and hopefully you'll see why when I do add it. So let's go ahead and add it. And then it says keep whisking once you add all the milk in for about 2 minutes. Again, I don't have a whisk, I just mix it. And Here is our warm milk. I'm gonna be quiet because this does get loud. It makes a sizzling sound. Let's get that over with. So I just start off with a little bit, and you gotta start mixing them together. But I wait until it gets to this, to like a little clump all together, and that's when I add more milk. So you go and start mixing it with the milk again, and it's gonna break apart again. But that's kind of just what works for me. Again, I don't know what I'm doing. This is probably all wrong, but it tastes fine at the end. So like, does it matter? So see how it's kind of all mixed again, but it's still kind of giving that like Play-Doh-y feel. It's gonna keep doing that. So when it gets to that kind of consistency, when it's kind of all actually sticking together, that's when you add more. Okay, now I gotta warm up another half cup. It's okay for this to sit for a second. It's all right, it's not a big deal. Okay, my pasta water is ready. And 2 cups of pasta, I only cook this for about 3 minutes or 2 minutes. I'm not fully cooking it, I'm just cooking it enough so that when it goes into the pasta sauce and that's still heating up, it's getting cooked the rest of the way in there, and it's not gonna be too gummy when it comes out. So I'm gonna put a timer on for the pasta, and my milk is done. So let me mix this, and then we're gonna start pouring in the rest of the milk. And then we're done with the milk. We're actually done with this kind of measuring cup for liquids. You don't need that anymore. Kind of gotta let this simmer for a little bit. See how it's a little watery still? I just want it to get slightly thicker. My pasta's done. My pasta's done. Strain your pasta when it's done. So our roux is ready. See, it's a little bit thicker now. This is definitely ready for the cheese to add in. And the recipe calls for 8 ounces or 2 1/4 cup. So again, I do 2 cups of my beautiful, amazing Cabot Vermont Seriously Cheddar cheese is the one I use 2 cups of. And then I do actually add more cheese than necessary, but that's because I'm adding in the extra and the little bit of mozzarella. So there is that. Here's most of cup 1, cup 2, and then we gotta add in the extra mozzarella, and that also goes in, and then we mix all the cheese together. Oh my God. So again, not too much. There we go. So now we mix. Oh my God, look at that. See? Look at that. Now, it's probably technically a little too thick. We're gonna add in the Worcestershire. We're gonna add in that sauce later. And that's gonna thin it out a little bit. If yours is too thick though, then you probably added too much cheese. I would throw in a little milk. So mine is gonna be fine though, because I add way more Worcestershire sauce than you're supposed to, but that's because it adds a lot of zing to it. We're gonna add in the spices. So they tell you like a specific amount of these. I don't know what that is, and I'm not looking at the recipe anymore, but I only add enough of the pepper, and you'll see what I mean when I say that I can see it evenly throughout the sauce. So I'm gonna start with that much. I think it is the same amount of salt as pepper, and then nutmeg just went in. So a little bit of nutmeg as well. And then I mix it. You can kind of see that there is like the nutmeg and the pepper throughout. And it's a little sparse, I would say. So I'm gonna add just slightly more pepper. Okay, let's see if maybe that is enough. So see, you can see the nice amount of spices all throughout the cheese. So I think that's good. All right, it's time to add the pasta in. This is when I usually add it in after the sauces. So we're gonna add in the pasta now. Now you'll probably see that my sauce is way too thick, but that's okay. Again, we're gonna work on it. This is what fixes it. This is amazing. I'm gonna preference this. I like it zingy. I like my mac and cheese zingy. So they suggest only 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Hopefully I said it right that time. I use way more than 2 teaspoons. I don't even measure it anymore. I do it by taste. So it's gonna look crazy. It's gonna look scary, but I'm telling you, this is the way I like it. So we're gonna go ahead and also make sure if you do get this one, it does get stuck on the bottom. Make sure you mix it up. So I'm gonna start there. I also go by how the sauce looks. I feel like this still looks too thick for me. I am doing it a lot slower this time than I usually would because I'm trying to record this. I also don't know if this even looks good. So I'm just trying to get the right consistency and then I'll taste it. I'm gonna bring it over here. I'm gonna taste it. It's still steamy, very hot. That is so good. So good. I'm not gonna add any more. We're gonna put this in our casserole dish now. I'm gonna flatten this out. It looks beautiful. Now, breadcrumbs. You can do whatever kind of breadcrumbs you want. Ritz crackers, real breadcrumbs. Real breadcrumbs are probably better. You can even mash some croutons or something. Turn the oven to a broil and start. And you pull it out when it reaches golden brown. Or if you like burnt flavor, when it's burnt. I don't like burnt flavor. All right, so we gotta wait for it to crispen up in the broiler. So while that happens, and it's on low, so it's gonna take a little bit. On high, I would watch it because it goes from perfect to burnt in like a couple of seconds for me. But now, because it's on low, I can clean up while it is finishing up in there. So let me clean up. Okay, I think it's done. So we're gonna take it out. I would say that's done. Yeah, all right. Oh, look at that. That's what it looks like when it's done. You can't even tell what it is. It just looks like maybe it could be apple crumble, maybe, but it's not because I made it. I can't make apple crumble. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. Looks pretty good on camera.
So here's ours. This one's mine, and this one's Jake with the extra stuff and a whole bunch more food. So there we go. That's what I can make. This is still recording. I'm gonna have to cut all this.
Why are you recording?
I'm recording from there. I was recording me.
That's recording?
That's recording me right now. Hello.
Oh. Interesting.